Welcome to the latest episode of The Claws Corner. Today's episode features two great guests for the low price of one. John Adams worked as a model in ad campaigns for Gucci, Armani, and Calvin Klein. After being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, he switched to a music career performing with his band Banana Fish Zero. Later bands included Statues of Liberty and Kid California. Toby Poser appeared in off-Broadway plays and had parts in Sex and the City, Law and Order, and a recurring role in The Guiding Light as Malibu Madam Amanda Spaulding, as well as being a voiceover artist on numerous national campaigns such as Progressive Auto Insurance, Clairol, and Tide. After John proposed to Toby under the Wonder Wheel in 1998, isn't that beautiful? They began a family that includes two daughters, Lulu and Zelda. The four of them began making their own indie films out of necessity and frustration. They cover all aspects of filmmaking process, which include writing, acting, directing, producing, costume design, cinematography, sound design, composing, editing, and much, much more. They formed their own company, Wonder Wheel Productions, creating some of the most innovative and original movies I have ever seen. They include Rumplestrips, Knucklejack, The Shoot, Halfway to Zen, The Deeper You Dig, Hellbender, Where the Devil Roams, Hellhole, and Mother of Flies. Joining me is former guest Kai Blackwood. He's an extremely talented writer, director, composer, and musician. He has toured with Connecticut favorites Violent Industry and Gargantua Soul, as well as being the vocalist, guitarist, and soul songwriter for the rock trio Kai Blackwood and the Tokyo Death Squad. As the founder of Airy Little Pictures, he wrote, scored, directed, and edited the award-winning film short Cupcake, which led to his featured directorial debut with the sci-fi horror drama Gray Skies. So what the hell am I waiting for? We have a lot to talk about. Please welcome John Adams, Toby Poser, as well as guest host Kai Blackwood to the Claws Corner. Toby, John, Kai, how the hell are you?
Fantastic. Great
Hi.
to be here.
Yeah.
The two of you. Really nice.
I was trying to cover it all in the intro because there's a lot of things you guys did, the three of you.
That was a good intro. It was kind of like legal.
Everything's legal here in the Claws Corner. I don't want any lawsuits later on. I want to talk, well, first of all,
a little illegal for you.
Yeah, here comes the illegal.
All right, it's where the fun begins. First of all, I got to thank Kai because I've been friends with him for years. And I was reading his Facebook post and he was raving about Mother of Flies and talking about your films. I said, I got to check this out. I was blown away. After seeing Mother of Flies, I went through all of your movies. The only one I have not seen yet is Halfway to Zen. Just earlier today, I was watching Shoot. It's such a great movie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, man.
Well, let's say something special about our relationship with Kai. This is what we love about art and making movies and making music is there's a great community out there. Mm-hmm. And Kai and I became friends because Kai reached out to me and just sent me the nicest message. I think it was about Hellbender. And Kai has a kid he does art with, and we bonded over that, our kids. And then we realized that we had played together in a band back in when? When did we play together at Hard Rock Cafe?
Hard Rock, way back like 2001 or 2.
And that was Gargantua Soul, right?
Yes, he was in Gargantua Soul, and we were Banana Fish Zero. Yep. But it's so great to become friends with people in this community and have a lasting relationship and be able to talk about life. And we just feel really glad to be in this community. It's a great example of what we love about what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like...
No, go ahead.
I was just going to add another, I wanted to sugar on Kai for a second too. I mean, Kai, I feel like we share DNA in the whole total, like, do it. I was just looking at some work of yours, a video, and you're like, yeah, I did all that with my phone and in a day. And it's really nice to meet other people who have got the same kind of just love for it all and are like, I don't need to wait. Let's do it.
Well, it's funny because before we started,
I was literally just telling Rich exactly what you just said about you guys.
Yep.
And why we gel so well together is because of that. Like we share like DNA.
Yep. Well, and that was we were talking off air because Kai I became friends with him because I was a singer of a metal band back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then my band used to play with his band. Back then it was Violent Industry. Even before then it was Sapphire. So I go way back. And we had so much fun. The scene was so great. We were just talking about that. Said everybody, I didn't even have a demo out, but I played so many shows. Like, come on, play with our band. Play with our band. So, I mean, I did so many things without even a demo back then, nothing. And so then over the years, I've done stand-up comedy. I wrote a book, motivational speaking. Now I'm doing a radio show, and I have met so many great people in this community. I've acted in low-budget films, and everybody's like, yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's have some fun. For the most part, everybody just has that same mentality, and there's like, and I love that DIY, which I want, since you mentioned that and you mentioned the band, we'll start with this. I was going to start with Mother of Flies, but I want to talk about how Black Flag and SST was such a big inspiration for you.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Black Flag in beginning of 1984, and they changed my life. That the pit opened up, Henry Rollins started singing My War, and my life changed.
Yep.
And I became full punk. I'd heard the Sex Pistols and other bands like that, but there was nothing like Black Flag and the energy of Black Flag. And ultimately, what Black Flag taught me was do it yourself. Do everything yourself. No stopping. And, there was bands like the Minutemen. There was the whole SST work ethic that was so good. And it really, I liked it. They said you could do anything you want. And those punk bands competed, or they found a guy like me in the mountains of New York. And this is pre-internet. Mm-hmm. And they found a lot of kids. They found a lot of boys and girls out in the world that they spoke to about rebelliousness, bucking the system, and doing what you want. And that has carried on. I met Toby, who had that philosophy too, for other reasons. And, when we started making movies, that was our whole ethic, was let's be like SST, let's be like Black Flag, let's get in the van, go play the club. If there's one person, play like hell. If there's 1,000 people, play like hell.
Yep. Yep. No, I love that. And I think one of my favorite books I've read was Get in the Van by Henry Rollins, which he won a Grammy for, because it's just so great. It's about him. For people who don't know, pretty much everybody who watches the show probably knows what it is. It's his life in Black Flag, just like getting in a van, going from place to place to place, and everything they've been through. And like you said, another one was Ian MacKaye, who was Henry's best friend from Minor Threat and Fugazi. He just said, nope, he put all his records together. He's putting them all together, and said it would take like hours at a time, just do like 50 records. And they're like, nope, I can't get a record company. Fuck it. We're just going to make it ourselves. And they did. And I love that. And I love the fact, because when you started doing movies, we're going to get into like all of that, but you just got in an RV and said, let's do it. And it was at Rumpelstrik.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, 2010. Our kids were 6 and 11, Zelda and Lulu, and we just took off for that year. We homeschooled them. It was more like road school.
Yeah.
We were all learning together. Literally, they were learning while we were learning what it meant to hold a camera and make a movie. They were learning at the same time, which was pretty beautiful.
They're road scholars.
Yeah. Well, they really are. And everybody was so, it seemed like genuine. It didn't seem like they were acting at all. Like Lulu was great, Zelda was great, you were great, Toby. And just, was a lot of the dialogue just you speaking with your daughters, or was it a lot of it scripted?
Oh yeah. No, it was totally, we learned right away. You know what? Each of us might know what's gonna sound best coming out of our mouths. And we still kind of roll with that. Sometimes we'll have a scene that, like, as a template to jump off from.
Yeah.
But then when we're in the throes of it, we're just like, no, this scene finds itself.
Yeah, most definitely. And John, I have to say, you were creepy as hell in that movie. When you came on that trailer,
Thank you.
Hey, so what do you got to eat? I'm hungry. You can tell, like, Toby's like, oh my God, how the hell am I gonna get him out of here? All right, now, and then you make him the peanut butter sandwich. Oh, this is to go. Nah, I think I'm gonna stay here. It's like, how the hell did she get? It was so great. Like, and for your first movie, I was so impressed. And I was telling Kai off the air before we started. I said, I have friends that do independent movies and low budget movies, and they look independent and they look low budget. You do that, but they do not look low budget. They do not look independent. It's just amazing. Like, just the amount of people, like just you two and your two daughters, for the most part, what you create.
Thank you. It's so fun. And that, you know what we learned with that first movie was we got into some festivals, and that made us feel kind of like we were like, all right, we got into some festivals, and people encouraged us to keep going. And again, it's such a bright comment on, the people, basically, just people looking at this family and saying, you should make it, we can't wait for your next movie. And we were like, all right, let's make another movie,
I love it.
And finding your family, like your greater family, because that's something that's obviously important to us with how we work. But then you realize, oh, there are other families out there. Like we meet you guys. Now we are all part of a family. We love the same things. We're striving for the same things, and there's something incredibly affirming and gratifying about that. How people lift each other up. It's like definitely fuel under our and wind under our wings. We wouldn't be able to do what we did if we didn't feel we had this kind of encouragement and like-minded, cinephilia.
I agree completely. And speaking of awards, I think that film won Best No Budget Film or something like that.
Best no budget, exactly. Yeah.
So then the next one was what? Knucklejacks? Is that Knucklejack?
Yeah.
Which was another one. I watched that last night, and I said it was so great because another one is like you and Zelda. I mean, obviously you're father and daughter, but you had such great chemistry. And then Toby, you were the best because you're coming through out of nowhere. Hey, want a party? Got some pot? Want to smoke it out? And then you'd just be like, "This is fun. This is fun." You're like, "All right, I'll see you later." But then I know it's years since it's been out, but the ending of that movie was great too. When you're just like, she's walking down the street, you gave her the money, and they're like, "By the way, what's your name?" I laughed so hard at that because throughout the whole movie, I'm thinking like, yeah, they're like, he keeps running into him, but who the hell is she? And when you said that, I laughed my ass off.
That movie is such a charmer, and it's actually one of the favorite roles I've ever done. And yeah, she's neat. She doesn't even you never know her name, but we kind of like realized with when we were doing that it was like, well, first of all, that's the first one we shot here where we live in the Catskills.
Mhm.
We realized like what gold where we live is, and most of our movies have predominantly taken place here, and we just never, it does so much of the heavy lifting for us. So that was our first Catskill.
And Kai, you would understand this. Kai also grew up in New York. So the people in upstate New York are pretty hard and they're pretty tough. And we like to celebrate the heroism of kind of like broken people, and that Kai, you know what I'm talking about when like that upstate New York vibe, it's like, it's a hard life up here.
Yeah. Well, when I think
It's my favorite thing about what you guys do, because I being from there, I know what they're like, and I know what it's like there. It's not the same as anywhere else in the world.
But the good
It's
thing is
somewhere where, like you said, people are hard, but there's something that you do. You know what it is? That resonated with me right off the bat, like with you guys. Like the first film I saw was Hellbender. One of my favorites to this day. It's such a good film for so many reasons. But it was that vibe, that New York vibe. I understand that New York vibe. I always got it with you guys. When we started talking, when you and I started talking, I immediately was like, oh, I know this guy. Even though, we'd only played together, we didn't really like, well, maybe we did interact. I don't even know. It was so long ago. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I want.
But
You mentioned
it was. There's a specific New York vibe, and yeah.
Well, what I love about that too, I want to get into Hellbender since you two brought it up. But before we do that, is I do want to say that it seems like the people in that area warmed up to you, and you have a lot of the locals in your movies. Where, like, didn't you say like in one of your movies it was like the soccer moms or something like that?
We had one today. We were just shooting all day with a soccer mom, and she was Lulu's soccer coach as well.
I love it.
like since right after Rumble Strips, we had moved to the Catskills for the first time, and
Well, not to the first time, but the first
no,
time.
it was our first year, like our first year, kind of like living
Yeah.
here full time.
No, I just
for
meant
a
we're
year.
from the Catskills. That's all I meant.
And she was our soccer coach, and she is one tough cookie.
Yeah.
And so we were like, you got to be in our latest film is very, very local. And she came and she just knocked it out of the park. So yeah, we love that. And it's something that we've never veered away from, because sometimes people have the real flavor when they're not actors. They're just the real deal.
And we've had great
that-
support from the
that.
community. Like, yeah. Sorry, Kai, go ahead.
No, that what Toby just said.
Yep.
There's something to be said about when you're filming, like, because I shot a film in Michigan and we brought some people in for it. There's nothing like having people who have the actual embodiment of what you're working with, especially when they're not actors, right? Non-actors, put them on a camera. At first, they're going to be a little shy. That happens. You guys know this. But once you work them out of that, you get like that real, it's what you guys have, that real juice, that real thing. Like Toby, as an actress, you have such a presence. I've told you this before, an enormous presence that when I watch you, it's not possible to not watch you. Do you understand? Like it's magnetic. It's that's your gift. Like whatever it is, like as soon as you're on, right, focused on you. John, same thing. In Mother Flies, that whole scene where you were poisoned and oh my God, fantastic work. It's literally fantastic work. It's so believable. And you forget you're watching a movie, like when you were having the whole snot come out of your nose and the whole nine yards, right? I'm vested. I'm so invested in like what I'm watching. I forget I'm watching something, right? And you're just like, you're it's almost like you're looking into some other world. I can't really explain what I mean by this, but you know, there's a difference between watching a movie and peering into like somebody's world. When I watch your films, it always feels like I'm peering into somebody else's world rather than watching like a film. It's a great experience. I love it. I've always loved your films. You know this. I'm a huge fan of your films.
And I can say that since I got introduced just maybe like a month and a half ago, same thing with me. It's like the four of you are just so natural and it doesn't seem scripted. That's why I was asking you, because I can't really tell what's scripted and what's not, because it just comes off as, you know, great chemistry. And it's just like it's more like home movies. You know what I mean? Like home movies as a film. It's because it comes off and you're so genuine and original. But the question I had for you is because you brought up Hellbender, and I love that movie as just as much as Kai did. I want to talk about, because most of your films start with reality. So I want to talk about that one in particular for right now. How did Hellbender grow from parental anxieties?
Great.
That is
Well, Lulu had gone off to college, and Zelda was growing into a young woman. And all of our movies are basically documentaries about where we are as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Zelda we all wanted to make another movie, and so we bounced around a bunch of ideas, and it really it was time to like make a movie about that, about a girl becoming a woman, and all the things that entails, how it makes a mother feel, how it makes the kid feel, how it makes society feel. Mm-hmm. And then we also got to make comments about the history of women and girls becoming women. It just was a joy to make that film. And, you know, like once again, you know, we were able to use locals, and Lulu was a part of it. And it was just beautiful, right, Tobe?
Yeah, there were two things going on too. Like at the same time, when we were when we were conjuring up ideas, I know we wanted to do something about kind of like identity and the devil. And I had found out at that time that I was donor conceived, that my dad, that I knew was my dad for 50 years, was not my biological dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, well, we started joking like, well, what if your dad was a serial killer, you know? And, you know, what if he was like the biggest like douche on the planet? And then that went into like, well, what if he's the devil? And so for a while we were going to call it The Devil's Daughter.
Yeah.
And Zettel was going to be the devil's daughter. And then we're like, we don't know if we can tackle the devil yet. Remind me to tell you something later to tack onto that.
I will remind you.
But
Yeah.
But so then that kind of evolved, and Hellbender came along because she, in a sense, she is. It was about like legacies and what's wrong. Like if you are the devil's kid, well, is that a bad thing? You can't help your where you came from.
Yeah.
Is it? And if you're like a total apex predator, like a Hellbender, is that bad?
Yeah, the nature versus nurture thing really came into play with Toby, because wondering, she was raised by somebody that she always thought was her dad, and then suddenly it was like, oh, but you have an entirely new DNA that we didn't know about. And that was such a fascinating question, like really fascinating.
Yeah. Well, another aspect of that film that you had to change things around was that the pandemic happened. So you had to change it a little bit where keep people, 10 feet apart, whatever it was. I love the isolation. I love how it's like, all right, no, you can't leave the house and this and that. And then she's always in the woods and she sees Lulu playing by the pool. So it was, I mean, that's, what you remind me of? I read a book by Robert Rodriguez. And when
Oh
he was
yeah.
making El Mariachi, and I guess he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for having like the lowest budget movie ever to make a major company. And so what happened was he said that the thing you have to do is film what you have there. Don't make a movie about what you can't have, but just like, see that chair? Let's make a movie around that chair. And I think that's what you two are perfect at. You're like, all right, well, you know what? The Devil's Daughter, well, let's change it around. Oh, wait, the pandemic hit. All right, let's make it like this. And as Kai said, it's such a great movie. I love the band, obviously, and the music, but I just love the fact that, like, the dynamic between you and Zelda, and Toby. First, like, you're the dominant one, and like how things progress throughout the movie. It's really good movie.
Thank you. Thanks so much. We had fun. That was another one that was like a 10th anniversary from Rumble Strips. We hit the road again. We got another RV and we shot that, like traveling around during COVID, like around the United States in a different RV.
Yep.
And it was a beautiful thing.
Another movie which I loved was The Deeper You Dig. And I want to talk about that was also inspired by reality. How did your cancer diagnosis inspire the story?
Yeah, well, so I had a reproductive cancer, and what happens in The Deep You Dig is a woman's daughter is, disappears, and she never really knows until the end what happened to her. And so that was a metaphor for what I was going through, kind of losing. I mean, I wasn't going to have more kids, but just when you lose that part of you, when your womb is like literally taken out of you and something malignant is growing that once grew life that you chose and wanted to grow there. It was like it was some heady shit.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact too. It's like when you
I got a question about that actually.
Wait, I just want to say one thing. Then Kai, it's all you. I promise you. I was gonna say is I love the fact like during the movie is you're losing your reproductive prowess. Your daughter in the film starts to disappear too. Like how you blended that in. It was beautiful. All right, Kai, it's all you.
All right, here's my question on The Deeper You Dig. Because Toby, what you were just saying. So throughout the film, John's character is breaking this house down. Right? He's rebuilding like this house. It's like a home, which is, with family and like that kind of thing. And I'm wondering if that was like intentional to what you just said about like the core of the story, which none of us know because you guys wrote it. You know what I mean? Like you can tell us now and you just did. But like that breaking down of the house. And he's like redoing, this is a guy who just did something horrible, right? Tries to cover it up. But this woman like lost her daughter and everything that you just said about, right? And he's breaking down this house. It's kind of weird. It's like, was that intentional or was that just incidental?
No, there's two things that were at play at that point. One was, we needed money and I was offered a job to demo a house and rebuild it. And I was like, great. And when I started demoing it, I brought Toby over and I said, and Zelda, I was like, you guys, we got to make a horror movie in this because look at this house. And everyone was like, holy shit. Yeah, let's make a horror movie. So we started to think about what we could do. And then we realized that the house would be a great symbol of basically a man tearing apart someone's history to all the way down to its bones and then rebuilding it. But it turning into something completely new. And so the house became, it was supposed to be a symbolic representation of the rebuilding of me as the daughter.
I
And
literally
the
have
story-
goosebumps. I got goosebumps, John. Like that's exactly how I saw it when I was
Awesome.
watching it. Like you know what I mean? It's like the subtext is there, but that was, oh, this is why I love you guys.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, I love that you brought it up, because I don't think after all these years anyone's ever brought that up. And it's always like, I always wonder why, because it was like,
So important to us.
it was so important to us, and we talked about it so much. And we did have one minor problem, which was I didn't finish the house, because every carpenter knows that when you tell someone you're going to finish something in a year, you really mean 2 years. And so it was like the house was kind of only half finished by the end of the movie. So we really couldn't film a basic, the most important scene, like in a sense, where we were going to show that the house was redone. And, so, but Toby's going to say we used the house in Hellbent.
That's the house from yeah.
Okay.
So we did get to finished product in Hellbender, yeah.
Now, is that the house that you were doing voiceover work to help him out with, so you can pay the bills? Was that the house he was building, or is that another house?
Oh. No, that's our house.
Okay, your house.
And,
all right.
And our house is in Mother of Flies.
Yes, that's why I want to talk about that. Yeah, because that we're going to get to that. Because now, what about the 1890 farmhouse? Which one's that? That's the house.
That's the house that I rebuilt.
Oh, that's when you were okay.
And
that's the one.
So that's in DPU Dig, and it's in Hellbender. And have we used it in anything else? I think those are just the only two that we used it in.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yep. Well, let's get to Mother of Flies then, because we keep referring back, and that was my introduction to you two. And so I just want to say, first of all, love the movie. It was the first American film to win the top prize at the Fantasia Film Festival. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I was looking at this, and I think you might have said this in the past too, but it reminded me of a grim fairy tale. That's what it reminded me of, which is, I love that. And this is probably one of your most, if not your most personal film. Why is that?
Yeah, well, going back to the cancer subject,
Yeah.
but with power and not pity. John and I have both had dances with cancer. His was very different from mine, and his was in 1994. And he went through a real, formidable cancer treatment of chemo and radiation. And so Zelda happens to carry the genetic, she and I both have something called Lynch syndrome, which is a genetic like cancer syndrome where we're predisposed to various cancers. So we have to watch out for things. And so we had found that out, and it was like, you know what? This is part of our narrative. Let's make fucking art out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And with, like I said, with power, not sadness. In a way, I always think of Mother Flies as kind of a love song to everyone on earth, because everyone on earth has been touched by death and illness, whether for yourself or for those you love. Those people are equally important, their journey, and we wanted to address both of them, the person dying and the person loving the person dying in this film, and with both respect and honor for death, but also like defiance for death, and kind of realizing that life and death, there's swings on the same set, is how I like to put it. There's swings on the same structure.
I love this fact because you embrace both. You embrace both life and another thing too is what I love about this movie is, it's a horror movie on so many levels, but then it's so much deeper. And I think the film helped your family, but also helped create conversations with your fans and people that are inspired to live life to the fullest and do their best to avoid regret. And to me, I think that's the ultimate compliment. It's sort of like horror meets Lifetime.
It was fun also to celebrate the doctors that saved our lives. So that's why we made Toby basically a witch doctor. Now she's a necromancer, but cancer doctors are necromancers too, because one of the cool things about chemo is that it kills every fast dividing cell in your body. So it's basically a poison. And it's a race between cancer and your body, and you want cancer to win the race. And so it was fun to figure out cinematic ways to tell this story about basically a death dealer and someone who knows how to mix the potions of death correctly so that they can get the right formula to get someone to live. And so that's what's great about horror is you can tell real stories but dress them in a Grimm's fairy tale drape.
I love
You know?
that. Yeah. Plus, tell me, and Kai and people listening, why is horror the best genre of film in a way for you? Now, because, well, go ahead. I'll tell you what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, we love horror because you can just there's no better genre for telling the truth, but with incredible credible creativity. You have so many textures, whether of darkness or possibly violence, fear. I mean, fear is exciting. We feel like we can address everything and cloak it in horror, and it's wonderful. I mean, life is really brutal. Brutal. Yeah, we always say
It can be.
brutal, and I'll say that it's brutal. And you come in with great even violence, I'd say. Whether you're given birth, whether you're cut open from cesarean or vaginally birthed, life is extreme.
Yeah.
And we love talking about it. We found our lover.
Can I say one other thing about
Please
horror?
do.
Which is the same thing, the same reason that we became friends with Kai and we're friends with you, which is horror is a lot like punk rock. Punk rock, one of the greatest things about punk rock was, and a lot of the heavy metal bands back in the early days, was they didn't have to be well produced. They just had to be genuine and honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could hear a band like Minor Threat or 7 Seconds or Bad Brains or Slayer even, and it's like, it doesn't have to be recorded by the greatest engineers and all that shit. It just had to be honest because we wanted that honesty. We were sick of dishonest music. And so we were sick of being fed kind of syrupy, saccharine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the great things about the horror community is they're just like the punk rock or the heavy metal community in that, number one, they just want honesty. And, they just want honesty, and they don't care how shiny it is. As long as you're being real, you're good.
I love another thing too is that you can make up your own rules more with horror than you can any other genre. You can just say people sometimes expect you to break the rules on it, and you're like, that's one of the things I love most about your films is you take a familiar trope and then make it your own.
Oh, nice.
And one of the examples is Hellhole, because
I want to bring something into that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh God.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought you was going to say something.
Go ahead, Reg. I'll wait till you're done.
All right. No, what I was going to say was...
It's okay, you can go. I got something after that.
Okay. What I want to say is, like I said, I love how you take a familiar trope and make it your own. When I was watching the movie Hellhole, before I even get started, what's the one movie that had the biggest impact on you, John?
Yeah, you already know it because you're asking the question, and it's
Exactly.
The Thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carpenter's The Thing. Yep.
Come on, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I ended up interviewing for the show Thomas G. Waits, who played Windows, and I got a chance to interview Adrienne Barbeau, who obviously was married to John Carpenter, but people like you would know she's the voice when Kurt Russell is playing, McCready is playing chess. That's her voice. So she was in. So I had so many great conversations with those two about The Thing and how John did it. And the funny thing is, I felt so bad is because that's the movie that almost killed him because he put everything into it, and then E.T. came out that same year, and it really didn't take off. Now it's a cult classic, but back then he didn't even want to make movies anymore. So too bad he didn't have like you, Toby, and John to say, "Come on, John, this is great. It's a masterpiece." But the reason I bring that up was because I'm watching Hellhole, and it's such an original movie. But I could definitely see how you're paying homage to it in a way, and showing your respect to The Thing.
But it's also like we have such respect for The Thing that the only way we could pay homage to The Thing is kind of almost as like a trauma comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I love
because
Joe.
so that's the way we could do it. That's the way we could say we love The Thing. It's because The Thing is just untouchable, untouchable.
Oh yeah, and that's why I have no idea why people you could. I loved ET and I love The Thing. You could like both. I don't know why it tanks so bad. Like, oh, I want a friendly alien. It's like I remember my father loved Howard Hawks' The Thing. That was the one movie that scared the shit out of him when he was a kid. Because with James Arness, the hand comes out. He said he was so afraid to open the closet. But when we watched The Thing at the drive-in when it came out in the '80s. He loved it so much, and usually he's like, "Oh, I hate remakes. Nothing could ever top that movie." And for him to actually say that, it's got to be a good movie because he never ever would give anything that like, "Oh my God, The Thing's my all-time favorite classic. Nothing's gonna beat Howard Hawks." But I've loved the movie from the very. And Rob Bottin is such a great FX artist, and that scene with the head. You got to be fucking kidding me. It's just everything about it. Like you said, it's a masterpiece. And I love the whole isolation, as you mentioned. That's how I know this answer is the isolation and the paranoia. And you have, like I said, you have a little bit I think in your movie you're in Serbia, right? Is it Serbia? I think you're in Hellhole.
Yes, we got to go to Serbia. The Hell was really different because we actually had like a big crew, and then there was a budget. It was it was Shudder really allowed us to make a movie that we weren't sure we would have done on our own, and it was really cool to have the opportunity to work with a wonderful cast, wonderful crew, beautiful Ratanja Mountains in Serbia, and at this former mine, like Soviet era mine. It's even got like the hammer and sickle on it. I mean, that set was off the charts.
Oh my God! And Kai, I'll let you ask your question after this. I just want while we're still talking about that, I want to mention two people that were so instrumental in that movie as well. Todd Masters and Trey Lindsay. I love the special effects.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing Todd right now. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I was so impressed with the effects. Again, I was like, I watch you two and I know like what you do, and it's like a big budget production. There's no way that this is low budget, and the stuff that you do on the budget you have is so impressive.
Yeah, that's Trey Lindsay. Like Trey, without Trey, we couldn't do what we're doing. He's our fifth family member. And again, he's like this great person to work with. He's super positive. He's just like us in that he loves coming up. He loves playing in the sandbox.
Yeah. All right. Kai, I know you had a question for them.
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on a couple of things here. And one of them being my biggest, most favorite thing about Addams Family films. Yeah. And they already know this, but you literally infuse into every film you make, no matter how horrific it is, no matter how demonic or witchy or whatever, but at the end of every single film is this weird little string of hope. And you guys both know this. I've told you both already, like how much I love that. But I'd love to know where that part of your whatever ethos, your Addams Family filmmaking thing comes from, because it's huge to the tone of your films.
Oh, that's such a great question, Kai.
Yeah, and a great observation, and that means the world to both me and Toby.
I know what I feel like we have this sort of unspoken rule that we like to go to we like to push ourselves, and we like to go to some extreme places, and we can't really do that in good faith if we don't temper it with love. So love is a big part. We feel like the more love that's in our films, the more dark we can go. That's just like this strange violence. And I feel like love is such a big part of our family, and we're not ashamed to talk about it and celebrate it. And so love, I feel like, I think it's just about love. We have to have that in there. And once we do, we can then balance it. Just like in Mother Flies, life and death are so important. Love and darkness are great bedmates.
Kai, it's the best question, because you're right that is one thing.
Even in Mother of Flies.
You speak.
No, I know it's so weird. We're like on this delay. Even in Mother of Flies, Solveig, right? But she's not really a villain. Again, John, I've talked to you about. I love this aspect so much. Like, you have this villain in this story, but she's not really the villain after all. She's actually a victim, like everybody else, and she's actually kind of a good guy, which is fantastic and wonderful. Again, it's this weird thing of hope, and like, I'm not going to speak for you guys, obviously, but it's like you guys touch the darkness. We know that, but it's almost like you touch it just to show the goodness. I know that sounds stupid, but it's kind of what it seems like with your films. It's like you touch the darkness, but the darkness is like only there to highlight like the actual good. That's like, even in the Hellbender at the end when Zelda's like, she doesn't forsake her mom. It's just like kind of like a warning, you know what I mean? Like a warning, like, I'm growing up, but I still want you to come with me. That kind of thing. It's always beautiful at the end. And I fucking love that about your films so much. I always have. Yep. It's like you touch darkness and you still kiss the goodness. It's fucking wonderful.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. I'm not sure if Kai saw this one, but the shoot with when everything happens and Toby says, "Nope, I'm going to stay with my man." After everything that happened, she says, "Nope, they take off and you're together." I love that. So that's a perfect example of what Kai was just saying and what you do in all your films.
That's really great, both of you, to say that. I think, like we said earlier, we love broken heroes. We love real people trying to, life is a gift. You're only given one, and you got to just fight like hell no matter what happens. And Kai, that's what you guys are both recognizing. It's like, we do believe that. Like, this is a great gift. Like, it's hard to watch, people when their lives are so hard they want to give up. It's understandable, but you only get one shot at it, and it's such a gift. And so that's kind of the thread that you're talking about, is like, just get up, put your socks on, keep going. And we always have that. The movie that we're making right now, I'm not going to tell you the ending, but it's And you know what? What's cool is it doesn't actually have to be like, you can still get killed and have hope, if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it has to be like Disney happy ending. It just has to be like, there has to be something in it that's good,
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think we really.
That's the best aspect of all your films is the even though all this bad shit happens, at the end of all the bad shit, you always give just a glimmer, even if it's just a glimmer, this little shining speck of hope at the end of this horror that you've just witnessed. That's the greatest thing about your films. I love it so much. Like, you can watch a horror film and then you can be like, ugh, you can be drained at the end of it. When I watch your films, I'm not drained at the end of it. I'm like renewed. I can't really explain it, but it's you understand. It gives you something else. Even the most disturbing ending you have is where the devil roams, and yet it was hopeful. Why is that? It's you guys. It's something that you infuse in your films. I love it.
Yep. Well, John, I want to ask you. I'll go ahead, Toby.
No, that's I love that you mentioned
Kai,
that.
You're powering our rockets.
Yeah, because that one, it's funny. Sometimes people see that ending differently, which is cool. But for me, the ending of that is pure like glory and exaltation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those people have done some horrible things.
Yes.
And so they represent, like, we don't like simple characters. I think it's important that characters are fucking textured and that you're challenged to both love them and you're challenged to hate them, which means they're fucking human. And so, like, those people do some terrible things in where the devil roams. And yet it's the love that you can't deny. They love each other, and that's something.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, when I was watching that movie, when Zelda was downstairs and Lulu was upstairs in the bedroom, when that thing happened, I actually felt bad when that happens. Like, no, I don't want that to happen. I like these characters, and I was saying that to myself. I'm like, no, why did that happen? And so I want to know, we didn't even really talk about how bad you had it, John. So the doctor gave you a 50-50 chance of living. Is that where you get all this hope from in your movies?
Yes, absolutely. The day the doctor called me and told me I had cancer, I discovered the meaning of life, which is I'm going to fight like hell because I'm going to fight like hell. Why wouldn't I?
I love it.
And it was great. Yeah, and I never going to miss a minute.
Yep. And it seems like, Toby, you've gone through the same thing too, and you just have that same passion for life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very lucky, and I'm lucky I get to do it with a nut like John, who's I love so much, and
I
great
love it.
kids.
Well, in more of the later movies, Zelda's in the movies a lot more than Lulu. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, Lulu is a world wanderer, and after college, she was living everywhere from Alaska, Hawaii, Korea. She was teaching in Korea, and then she was just finished her master's. She was in Scotland for 2 years at
My
the
God.
University of Edinburgh, finished her master's in psychology. And so and she's been more places than us, and she's
Wow.
27.
Wow.
So we're lucky when we get her, and when we do, we're like, please. And right now in the film we're shooting, she is rocking some cool shit because we are lucky that she's home a bit now, and she's so athletic and strong, Lulu. So we have her doing a lot of the kind of like monster work
Yep.
in our new film.
Obviously, John, we don't want to know the endings. I can't wait to see it when it comes out. But can we have a brief synopsis of what this new film's about?
Absolutely. It's called The Glorious Dead, and it's about a sheriff, Toby, and a deputy, Zelda.
I love it.
And they wake up, and the day starts off real bad, and it only gets worse.
That's all you have to say. You sold me.
That's it. That's the pitch.
And then, as Kai would say, but then it gets better. So all is good.
Well, just because Kai's fueling our rockets here, we promise Kai we're gonna hook him up.
All right. You heard it here first.
But it'll be Kai. It's gonna be in that Addams Family way, where only people like you guys are gonna understand, and some people will be like, "What the fuck, man? What the absolute fuck was that?"
I cannot wait. When do you have a release date set?
No, because what we like to do is we self-finance our movies so that we can do them our way without any kind of interference, because Toby and I and the kids enjoy working together. So no, the way it works is we write, we shoot, we edit, and when it's done, we use a company called Yellow Veil that is our sales agent, and hopefully they'll find a buyer for it. That's the way we've always done it. And so we'll continue doing it like that. And we hope, obviously it'll hurt if it doesn't get sold, but we're really happy with the movie. So that's most important.
All right. And
Well,
what's the deal you
get
have
sold.
with Shudder?
It'll get sold. You guys are like the darlings of this.
Oh my God, yeah. No, well, I have no doubt that it'll get sold, but what is the deal you have with Shudder? Because I know the last, 3 or 4 I've seen on Shudder, and then the other ones I watched on Prime Video.
That Shudder has been an amazing supporter of us, and they've been really generous to the fact that we're just a tiny family that makes the movies that we do, and they've never asked us to be any different than what we are. So we've just had a great relationship with them.
Yep.
I love it. Now, I'm guessing the next one will be on Shudder as well.
We would hope so, but again, it's going to be up to them, and so we would hope so.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm so superstitious that when we're making a film, I'm so kind of protective of it. I'm like the mother who's like, don't, you might think of my baby as ugly, but I'm not even going to show its beautiful, ugly face to you yet because it's gorgeous. And I don't want your opinions at all. I'm so protective until we're done with it.
Yep,
And then I'm like, okay, at least there you go. People will think what they will, but I love it. We love it.
But I think one thing that's important to say is, we're having this conversation with you guys today. When it's over, we will have learned a lot. And we like to take these communications, and we want to be better storytellers, and we want to be better filmmakers. And that's why the festivals are so important. That's why, the press is so important. That's why podcasts and friends and like-minded artists are so important to us, because we're listening, and we try to take the lessons that we learn with each film tour and apply them. And that doesn't mean we're trying to be commercially successful. It means more we're trying to be just artistically genuine.
Yeah.
And you guys are musicians and artists,
Question
like
about this. I have a question
Yeah.
about the artistic stuff.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Toby. I'll come in after. It's okay.
I was saying, you have to grow, right? You have to give yourself room to crack the fascia of your creativity and flex new muscles and use them in new ways. It's like I always kind of I always say I get frustrated when people are like, I went to a concert and they didn't play any of my favorite songs. It's like, well, screw you, they're musicians. They have a lot of songs. I understand you want to please people. You want to be pleased, and musicians, but musicians are so much more than just their hits.
Yep.
If you go to a concert and you want to appreciate everything they're doing. I mean, that's how I personally feel. And I feel like we hope to be making movies for a long time. That means we have to try new things. We have to, and for this movie, we're trying something very different. This is a real exercise in growing urgency and relentlessness and just escalating horror. And then we're trying new things, and that makes you vulnerable. But you're not going to grow if you don't try it.
Kai, before you go, I just want to add to what she said, because I have a perfect example of that. I went to go see Paul McCartney at Fenway Park in Boston. And he goes, I always know when people love the songs I'm playing, when I'm playing the hits. I see everybody's phone out, see all the lights. Then as soon as I play a new song, it's like looking into a black hole. And he goes, you know what? I really don't give a shit. I'm playing a new one. I like this song. And everybody laughed, but I agree, because he's been playing these songs for how many years, and he wants to play one or two new songs, and people are like, oh, come on. He played 35 songs, and how old is he? I think he's almost 80 years old, or he's over 80. But yeah, so when he said that, when you were saying that, that's exactly what it reminded me of. He goes, I don't give a shit. We're playing this one. So I'll be back to it next after this one. And that's the only way to go, because I have cerebral palsy, so I did stand-up comedy after bands, and then I went into motivational speaking. And that's what I always say. It's like, you have to get out of your comfort zone. So it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird at first, but then after you do it for a while, it's going to feel comfortable. Then try something new. It's like, always evolve. Don't get stuck in that rut, because you're never, ever going to grow. You're never going to try anything new. And when I did stand-up comedy, somebody made a great comment. The only comedian that ever bombed was somebody that never tried a new joke.
That is so right. Yeah.
So the same thing with filmmaking. I have so much respect for the three of you, because you're always out there trying something new, trying something different. I mean, you go from Knucklejack to Mother of Flies and everything in between, and every movie is completely different. It's not like you're just like, all right, let's do a heist, let's do a robbery, let's do a horror movie. It's like, all right, no, you got a little bit of everything, and you're like, oh, let's see if this works. And if this doesn't work out, let's do something else.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to bring up the cinematography for a second. The shots that you guys did in Mother of Flies, there are some incredibly beautiful shots. Now, you know that I think this Where the Devil Roams as well. You always had their signature Addams Family shots, okay? And some of those are usually Toby in a dark room, or you know, your films, you understand. With each film, you stepped up I was going to say the gravitas of it, because there's something about the cinematography, and started with Where the Devil Roams, where you really got dark and beautiful. I can't really explain it, but then Mother of Flies, there are shots of Mother of Flies that are almost just transition shots that are so beautiful and so helpful to the story. And it's weird because they're transition shots, but they're so incredibly important to the story. And my two questions are, and I have a third question, but that has nothing to do with this. First question is, did you know that that you were doing that with the transitional shots to make it like such a beautifully flowing film, because it's very earthy film. It's very earthy. And two, whose idea was that? Because there's some incredible shots in that movie.
Thanks. Thanks so much. What was nice about Mother of Flies was nature is basically our lead actress. And yeah, we were very conscious of being able to use nature as a transition, and also nature telling a story. Like, so yes, those transitions were super important. We knew that we wanted them, and we knew that we needed kind of some montages where nature was just the lead actress. And so we shot a shit ton of nature shots. So there's so much stuff that hit the floor, actually. And what's beautiful about that, though, is that we all got to sit in the woods together and grab these gorgeous shots. You'd see a butterfly on a flower and it'd be like, okay, stop acting for a second. Let's grab this butterfly on a flower, or let's grab this salamander, or let's, or look at those clouds up in the sky. Let's grab the clouds.
The salamander. I love the salamander shot, John. I love the salamander shot, by the way.
Thank you.
Actually,
I loved it.
Speaking of shots like that, like, is that what you did with the eagle, where the devil roams?
Oh,
like, or was that
the eagle? Is the same deal. That eagle just wanted to be in the movie. We filmed down in our fields, and that eagle sat and watched us. And so we were like, you know what? We bought a telephoto lens because I tried to film the eagle, but I didn't have a good enough lens. So we bought a cheap telephoto lens and started filming the eagle.
Wow.
And it was funny because at first, as soon as I pointed the camera at the eagle, it would take off. And I was like, oh my God, you've been sitting here this whole winter, and now when I aim a camera at you with a telephoto, you take off. And actually, we started to use that. We used the eagle taking off, and it worked out. And yeah, that's more an example of nature showing up and saying, hey, I want to act. And us being like, okay, great.
I love it, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't think they have enough money to have a trainer to put an eagle in the movie. I said, but it was perfect. The way you stood up there and you're just staring, and then it just takes off on cue. I loved it.
I thought that with the salamander. I was like, did they wrangle a salamander for this? Because it was a perfect shot.
I know.
Well, both of those are those animals showing up and being like, I'm here, film me. And
of course,
Toby got the footage of the spider crawling in front of the camera lens. There's one shot in Mother of Flies where a spider goes right in front of the lens, and that was all Toby. So it's a lot of it's
I paid it with flies.
Yes,
yeah, well,
exactly.
we were going to talk about that. I said, John had the eagle. You unfortunately attracted all the flies.
I did. They loved me. We know it was summertime. It was hot, and we just learned.
I have a question about the flies.
Yeah. Fire away.
Okay, I got a question about the flies, because it was obviously very cinematically like awesome, right? So I'm watching this. There's a lot of flies. Are the flies really there?
Yeah.
Or were they like put in afterwards? Because it looked awesome, but I was really curious about that as a filmmaker.
They are there. I mean, except for like the one Trey, our wonderful effects guy, when I'm in the woods and I open my mouth, the flies kind of come out of my mouth. That was Trey. I didn't have like a posse of flies inside me, but all the other flies they were there. Yeah.
Really?
And they would land on me and I'd be okay with it, but sometimes they would bite, and then you'd be stuck with like a little mark on your face. But otherwise it was no big deal.
Well, what I love the fact is your movies have a lot of symbolism. So what did the flies represent in Mother of Flies?
Flies are the wonderful, like cyclical, like death emblems, because they lay their eggs in dead things. Then the larvae are there, and the larvae eat the dead things. And the larvae turn into new flies, and it's over and over and over. Is the perfect, like Ouroboros, life eating death, eating life.
I love that regeneration.
Yes.
And since we're on Mother of Flies, I want to talk about how you broke your rib.
I had a question about the end of Mother of Flies.
Yeah.
I got a real quick question about the end of Mother of Flies.
Guess he's on a delay.
No, yeah, we're all on delay, unfortunately. I want to know about the end of Mother Flies, that last scene, that final, beautiful, happy, wonderful scene. And was that originally part of the script, or did you like kind of throw it in afterwards as the, you know, that wonderful hope thing that you do? But it was, oh, it's my favorite end of a horror movie ever. After all this awful stuff, but which wasn't really awful, but you know, it was, right?
Yeah.
And then just to have that wonderfully, the father and the daughter just sitting there, just like smiling at each other, right? And as a matter of fact, I noticed that Zelda never looks at John, right? But he's just like, yeah, all right, right? Because she's like, yeah, we don't need to come back for this anymore. Was that originally part of it, or did you just kind of like on the fly, like maybe throw that in?
No, that was part of it. Because we knew that we wanted to show my relief and my happiness, and but also her neutrality almost to what just happened, you know, because she's
Right.
not, I'm looking at her and smiling, and she's still a bit stunned.
Yeah, and yet there's like power, and I think he's kind of honored when he smiles at her the way he does. It's such a great moment. He's honoring her power because she did go there on her own terms, and she's like, "You can come with me or not, but I'm doing this, Dad." You know, and go at one point.
Yes.
You can't take the heat and the
That argument that they have,
Yep.
that argument
It's like, just leave, get out of
that
here.
they have in that room, and she's like, you know, just leave, right? That whole thing. But he's been supportive of her that whole time. I'm telling you, man, I got goosebumps again. Like, there's something about that movie that's very hits me right in the chest. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's so great. But there's so many scenes that are like that thing. And actually, before we say anything, like, I just want to get to the Solveig part for a minute, because this is super important to me, like, while watching the film. So Solveig has her own entire backstory, which is so tragic. It's a tragic story. So like I said before, she's not the villain. There's not really even a villain in this film, which is amazing, because you kind of think there might be, you know, but then as you're watching it, you're like realizing, like, so there's no villain in the film. There's not even a Joker in this film. There's not anything. It's just like these two people from different times going through like similar battles or whatever it is, right? That come together, and basically Solveig takes her pain, which is her own pain, and creates a child out of that pain. It's unbelievable. I wish I could explain more, like, better what I'm trying to say, but she takes this other woman's pain and like forms with her own pain and creates a child out of that pain. It's fantastic. Oh, it's so fantastic. I wish I could express it better, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, the best way to explain it to people is just go watch the movie, because you're going to love it. I think it's, as I mentioned before, so there's so many different levels to this movie. It's like horror meets Lifetime. It's inspiring. It's scary. I can tell you, my girlfriend came downstairs. She's like, "What the hell are you watching?" She freaked out. She saw the trailer. She was afraid of Toby as the witch. I'm laughing my ass off. But then afterwards, she's like, "Oh my God, this is really good." So like, she was scared one time, then she was inspired another moment. And it does that. It did to Kai, it did it for me, and I'm sure there's so many other people that when you go to these different conventions, they'll tell you the same thing. And speaking of conventions, you got to go to Chiller. I go there every April and every October. It's in Parsippany, New Jersey. You would go over well there. It's
Awesome.
Chiller, all right.
Parsippany's close. We'll head down there. We've done a bunch of great festivals. Jersey's got great festivals. It's got great rock and roll. I love New Jersey. So yeah, that sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, I don't know who you can get in touch with. I'll try to see if I can get some information for you, because I have friends that have tables there, but it's such a fun time. That's where
thank you.
I usually get a lot of my guests from there, because it's people like you that love movies, that are like, I got, you know, the Terrifier people and things like that. So yeah.
Great.
So I'll look at them. But we're still on Mother of Flies right now, and I wanted to talk to you about, because I mentioned all the things you guys do: cinematography, editing, scoring the movie, writing, directing, acting. One thing I forgot to add was stuntman, stunt person. So let's talk about you, Toby, and how you broke a rib during that movie.
I sure did. So there's if you blink a couple times, you might miss it, but there's something we call the death vagina, and John built it, and he did such a great job. He built it over, like he made it with like all kinds of materials, and he was nailing it above, over a stairwell. So, and then he was holding me by my legs, and I'm not like a tiny little wafy thing, and he's holding me by my legs, and I'm going through the orifice, and
I was dipping her.
yeah, it was unbelievable. But there was a lot of weight that then when I was kind of pulling myself back up, I just like felt this like crack, and the sound and the pain was incredible.
She was hurt.
Well, man, I'm
We
glad you
had to
survived.
dip her. We had to dip her down the hole because we had filmed it. We had built the death's vagina down in our yard, like below our porch, so that we were going to make Toby come up out of it and then make it come out of the roof. But the problem is gravity was going the wrong direction. So it didn't look like she was coming from above. Like her hair wasn't coming down and gravity wasn't pulling her. So we were like, yeah, we're going to have to put Death's vagina up on this 2 stories up, and I'm going to have to dip you down. And Toby was a great sport. And even after she broke the rib, she kept going.
I love it.
That's
a tough girl. She's a tough girl.
Well, speaking of all the different things that the both of you do, and your daughters too, well, let's start with you, John. What do you like to do the most? Do you have a favorite aspect of the filmmaking process? Writing, acting, directing, film score?
I'm gonna give you the real answer, which is I love the whole process from the beginning to the end. That's what I love about filmmaking, is that it's a big, round, beautiful thing. Yep.
All right. So for Toby, what about you? Do you have a favorite aspect of the filmmaking process?
I really do enjoy writing. I mean, and it's funny, I say that loosely because we do, like we said before, we're actually writing more of an entire screenplays than we used to.
Yeah.
And then we usually just jump off from them when we're shooting it. But I do like the written word, and I like kind of seeing a scene kind of sprawl out on a page, and figuring out which little scenes web to others. I mean, I always think of writing as being a spider, and you have the luxury of watching the web grow and connect. And so I do enjoy that.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we were talking about this before. So you write the script and then you start filming, but then you sort of like evolve it or have it evolve, and then you make it your own, right? You can just like add lines, delete lines, try like, let's see, oh, this line. So we'll talk about Mother of Flies. Like how many takes did you do for each scene? Did you do like a lot of, were you like a Stanley Kubrick doing 50 takes?
A mix. Sometimes we'll do 50 takes, sometimes we'll do one. It really depends. And we also have the advantage of taking, like when we shoot something, we come home and we look at it that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if we think it's good, it's done. If we don't, we'll shoot it again. So sometimes we've gone back and shot some things 5 different days over and over and over because it's failing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we were looking at something a day or two ago of a really important scene for the film, and it was just a hard acting moment for me. And John's like, let's look at it. And I want you to see this, because he had wanted something from me, and I know I had wanted something from myself, but I wanted 3 different things for myself. And we did so many takes of this, like so many. And it was like, and my ego was like, we've got to kind of get and find it. It was like, we're done, and we looked at all of it. And so sometimes we will just like, and it usually has to do with me, because sometimes I just don't nail it.
Oh, that's not true. It has, because, No, it doesn't have to do with Toby. It has to do with just an opinion about how something should be delivered.
Yeah.
And we're all wrong a lot, and we're all right a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened with yesterday when we filmed Toby over and over and over. Was she had an opinion, I had an opinion, but guess what? We shot everybody's opinion. And when we looked at it, in the end, it's going to be a combination of our opinions. So, yeah.
Well, what I love about the editing process is that you are the sole editor. Why did that happen?
Because everybody, when on our first movie, Toby had to be the producer because she's better at that. So that left me with being editor. Because it was just like everybody had to do, you know,
I want to step
grown-ups around. I wasn't
need to
sorry,
step in
Kai,
on this
go
one.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got to step in on this one. John is a fantastic editor.
Oh yeah.
As someone who also edits, I love your editing. It's great storytelling. He's fantastic at it. I literally just told him this like a few days ago. So yeah, John's a fantastic editor.
Oh yeah, no,
Facts.
well, that's what impresses me the most. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Is like before you did your first movie, you had no idea how to edit. You learned all on your own. So what'd you do? Check out YouTube videos and other. That see, I love that because I hate when people say, "Oh, well, I didn't have the money to go to school for this. I can't do that." You're the perfect example, both of you, of like if you want something done, you can learn how to do it, and you can do it yourself, and you can make it good. It's just that
Yes,
you have to want it enough.
Kai, how did you learn editing? Because you do all your videos, right?
Yeah. I do all my own stuff. I literally learned because I made the Cupcake, that film, that film.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
great.
didn't trust any. I'm just that way. I'm like you guys. Like anything I do has to be me, right? So I was like, I could figure this out. It can't be that hard. And I sat down, and then I realized I'm actually pretty good at it. You know, transitions. You know, it's important how things move, right? It's a flow, and that's what you're great at the flow, dude. So good. It's a flow thing. So yeah, I learned on my own because I had to. Because if I want to do something right, I got to do it myself. And I know you guys are the same.
Yep. Well, actually, let me ask you because I know you mentioned that one incident where the four of you had your own idea of what was the best shot. So for you, when you're going through the film by yourself, because it must be so hard, but everything you're gonna like everything you did for the most part. You're like, I don't want to cut this part out. This is integral to this part. So how long would it take you on average to edit one of your films? Like how much time do you spend editing?
That's a great question, but the answer is it takes us about a year to turn around to make a movie, like from beginning to end. We pretty much make a movie every year, and
Yep.
so and so on day one, I go home, I start editing. So it takes a year. Some things go really fast, and some things go very slow. Some things are very hard to edit. Some things are very easy. So, but it basically just like we're just one big unit that kind of bumbles along, and we bumble along for about a year.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. The only other company that I could think of that comes even close to Wonder Wheel Productions would be A24, because it seems like that they give their directors the creative freedom to do what they want, and I see films that like most other studios be like, I'm not releasing that, and that's why I love the fact that there's companies like you and A24 that allow filmmakers to be themselves.
Well, I just read a good article about
Ne-
about Blumhouse is now hired Sam Zimmerman out of Shudder to start to run their acquisition and new content department. And I just read this article that they're going to start concentrating more on sub $1 million movies, which I think is really, 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 really smart.
Yes, I love that.
Because I feel that one of the biggest problems with making movies is how much money gets in the way.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So I did not hear that, but I forgot about Blumhouse, and I think that's a great idea.
Me too. I'm very much looking forward to see what they do.
Do your films ever get theatrical release?
Editing question for John.
Wait, Kai, 1 second. I just want to ask John and Toby something. Did your films ever make it to theatrical?
I got an editing question for John.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure who's going next, but
I'll listen to the editing question.
Okay, here's my editing question for John. So with the soundtrack, because I love your music. I'm a huge fan of the music of your films. How how do you incorporate, like, is it beforehand and then you just place it in like later, but like knowing where it's going to go, or do you kind of go as you go along? Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you're editing something, you're like, hey, we need a piece, because I know you can do that, and we'll make something to go with that piece.
I'm not as good at writing for a piece. I'm better at, as soon as we come up with like a movie, we write like about 25 to 30 songs. And because we need to find out what our tone is going to be. So if you think about the tone of Mother of Flies, it's got a little different tone than Hellhole, or it's definitely got a different tone than Where the Devil Roams. And so as soon as we come up with an idea, we just write a shit ton of songs that generally have a tone.
Right.
Like right now, I'm finishing up all the songs. I have about 40 songs, and they have a definite heavy, fuzzy, like dirge tone.
Yeah.
And it's like, because that's going to match the tone of our movie. And then
Do you write 30 songs for every film?
Well, I don't have to write, like, I don't have to finish them necessarily. I only have to like flesh them out so that I got the guitars, the bass, the drums, the feeling, the verse, chorus, bridge, but I don't have to like beat my head against the wall over it, because they don't all make it. Like Mother of Flies, only 5 songs made it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I see what song's going to make it, then I zero in, finish it up, try to produce it well. And so that's how it kind of works, because I love editing to music.
So did some of the songs
He says try to
go
produce
another
it well,
movie?
like it's not the best.
No. What I was gonna say, John and Toby, was like some of the songs you wrote for one movie, would it, like, say if what didn't get into Mother of Flies, would it maybe go into the next movie that you're creating now? Or do you just start completely fresh and with a whole new set of songs?
Good
That's
question.
a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. But generally, no, if it doesn't make it, that's it. Except for Mother of Flies, the credits, we use a song that I had written for Where the Devil Roams. But generally, the tone is too different to use in the next movie.
And I also want to talk about, since we're talking about songs and composing, I want to talk about how you use everyday products like washing machine and drills, how you incorporate that into your film. I love that.
That is really, really fun, Rich, because John often will say, "Oh, what did you do just there? We'll do it again." And and that's really fun, because he's often got our sound system. I mean, how we record is really simple, and John's gotten so good at it, and it's like pretty like fundamental. And sometimes so he'll have like a Zoom recorder, and he'll be like, if he's downstairs, let's say, and editing, and his sound equipment is right by his feet, he'll say, "Oh, step on that floorboard again," and we'll do it. And he's like, "Do it again and again." And wherever we go, like the sound. There are 2 things that are really great that I think John's used a lot. Like when in our travels, we travel a lot from festivals, or when we edit, we like to travel while John's editing for like inspiration. And we were in Washington State, and there's at Fort Worden, there's these old bunkers, military bunkers, with these old steel doors that are so rusty, and they make this like wailing sound. And John does a lot with that. And he also like had some old pianos, and he took the guts out of the pianos, and he would use stuff from those. Those are great horror sounds.
I love it.
And yeah, here's something really fun that happened with the movie that we're shooting right now is we've had an amazing winter. Snow nonstop. We have 2 feet of snow. It's really cold. Been a lot of snowstorms. And I just kept hearing the rhythm of the windshield wipers.
Yeah. I love it. See, you never know where
And so like I wrote a whole song out of those windshield wipers that I'm so happy with, and I can't wait for the world to hear it, because it was so fun to write.
Well, this is a perfect segue for both of you, because there's like maybe 3, maybe even 4 movies where it features snow. And I love the fact that there's snow in your films, because like sometimes you see these horror movies and it's so dark you can't really see what's going on. In the snow you can't really hide anything because it's so bright. Was that intentional or was it more just seasonal?
I think what we love about snow is the cinematography aspect of very dark darks and very blown out whites. It just is something that we love about cinematography.
Yeah.
And so we were always told never shoot in the winter, and all we really want to do is shoot in the winter.
See,
Probably
breaking
because
the rules.
everyone told us never shoot in the winter.
And blood looks so good in the snow. It
really
really
does.
does.
And again, Kai would know, upstate New York has a special look to it that looks great on film. The trees in the winter get very black with like a touch of green. The snow is generally, very deep, but it always has a little bit of blue to it.
Mhm.
And you just add, like Toby said, the flesh and blood, and you have this great palette of color.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. As Kai mentioned, you two were talking about the cinematography is beautiful, and that's one of the things I was mentioning or asking you before because I love the cinema experience. I love going to a movie theater, the big screen, surround sound, popcorn, soda. I think your films would be beautiful on the big screen as much as I enjoy them watching on my TV. So do you ever have theatrical releases, maybe not everywhere, but in some places, and then it goes to the streaming services, or is it just strictly to streaming services for now?
Yeah, we have had a few theatrical releases, particularly with Where the Devil Roams. Hellhole had some. Mother of Flies pretty much just had it's still running some festivals, and Shudder got it up pretty fast. But we do have had some, and we love those. Like there's some the Alamo. There've been some great screenings at the Alamo Draft House in various cities around the country. The IFC Center in New York City is a favorite place personally, and we just had a screening there this winter. The Nighthawk in Brooklyn is excellent. We've had some there. So yeah, there's some cool places like at Phil Mocha in Philadelphia, the old morgue, or not a morgue,
Mortuary.
Yeah.
But the festivals are theatrical.
Oh yeah.
We love the festivals. You're in with crowds that love horror, and that's really what we consider our theatrical.
Yeah, no, I love that, and that's what I was going to ask you next. Was because I remember when Spielberg was 27 years old, he did Jaws. He said he would sneak into the projection booth just to get the audience's reaction. Have you ever done that to see like how are people react? What enjoying it when people are screaming, when people are laughing? I can just imagine like how it makes you feel.
You've never seen your movie until the first day you see it with an audience.
Yeah.
It's just like rock and roll. You don't know whether you've written a great song until you've played it in front of a crowd.
Yeah, being in bands, I know that feeling. Being on stage and seeing the whole crowd go crazy, it's like yes, it's like such a great feeling. So I do know exactly what you're talking about. I love it. Toby, I want to ask you a question because as I mentioned in the intro, you did.
Speaking of music,
what was that?
Yeah, Kai.
I got a quick question. Speaking of music, when did you guys realize that your daughter has the voice of a fucking angel? John, Toby, you both know. I both told you guys. Zelda's voice is ethereal. It's unbelievable, and it's exactly it literally is part of what you guys do. When did that happen? When did you just be like, hey Zelda, why don't you try and sing? Or was she just like open her mouth and this angelic sound came out? It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things about the music is her voice is unbelievable.
We
and
agree.
Does she know it?
No, Zelda's pretty modest. I don't know that she does know it, but it happened because she was always the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And then why did we get Zelda to sing? We got her to sing on the Deeper You Dig song, Elevator.
But I think it was like there was Kid California Band,
Right.
And then when we kind of moved here, you had her start, or towards the end of when we were living in California, you had her start singing some stuff, and they were like things like Dark Sky.
Yeah, well, Dark Sky was the
And
big
Falling
turning
in
point.
Love. Yeah.
Those were the big turning point. That was during Hellbender. That was when we were filming Hellbender, or right before we started filming Hellbender. And yeah, I know what it was. She liked Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Billie Eilish sings really quiet. Why don't you? Because Zelda's got a very kind of quiet voice, or at least did. And I was like, why don't I write you a song kind of like Billie Eilish, and you can sing on it. And so we wrote a song called Black Sky, and she sang on it. And yeah, that's Kai. When I was like, holy crap, this kid has this amazingly ethereal voice. And I love Toby sings always under Zelda and adds this flavor that I don't think a lot of people hear, but the two of them together are really
Wait, Toby
beautiful.
sings underneath her? Toby, I didn't know
Oh,
Toby sang
in
underneath her. You
almost
do
every
that, Toby?
song. Yeah.
Oh,
Too, yeah.
Well, I loved the Hellbender when
whatever
you
the
two were playing together. It was great.
whatever the combination is in the songs of the voices and the music. Obviously, John, I've told you a million times how much I love the music. We've talked about it. Those voices are Cut Me. I still think needs to be made into a full song. I love that song so much. I listen to that. I find it on YouTube, and I listen to Cut Me on repeat because it's so fucking awesome.
Dude,
you guys don't
you.
know like how much you contribute to the entire like genre, not just like, I mean, music, film, the whole gamut. You run the whole thing, and you contribute this incredible this vibe. I don't even know what it is, but it's a fantastic thing. And it's my favorite thing about you guys, besides the Hope thing, is that you contribute all of it. It's this music, it's this soul, it's this whole thing that you guys do that's so real that you can feel it as a viewer, which is why I connected with you guys in the first place. As a viewer, I see the genuine nature of what you guys are doing, and I feel how real it is, which makes the stories almost more real. So again, like I said, like you're, instead of watching a movie, it's like you're peering through this thing into like people's lives, right? I definitely felt that with Where the Devil Roams, but Mother of Flies also. And then going back, looking at Hellbender under that lens, it was the same thing. You guys bring beauty all around. It's not just the film. It's not just the script. It's not just the music. It's all of them together. And this beautiful thing that, I'm sorry, I'm fanboying out. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
you know,
you're being awesome. I'm not kidding. We're walking out of
how
here
much you bring to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Kai, you've always been such a great supporter, and it's you. Like I can say the same thing about you. And I remember when I first started listening to your music too, I couldn't believe, number one, the musicianship, but also the production value and the words. And I was just like, oh my God. So it's really a great, it's a great relationship is how I feel about it.
Well, I want to expand on Zelda because when I was watching Knucklejack, when you two are going from house to house looking for things, all of a sudden you're like, Zelda, what are you doing? And she's playing drums. I don't know how old she must have been at that time. Was that like right around the beginning where like she might be a drummer? Was that when she was getting?
That was.
She started at age 8, I think, because we'd finished Rumble Strips and we came here to the Catskills to live for a little while. And I actually have a video of her on her very first lesson. And when she started, she was like, I can't do it. And then she got the beat and she just got it and she never stopped getting it.
Yeah.
And seeing her feel that, seeing it just like infiltrate her body and take over was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Like riding a bike. Yeah.
I love it. She's a natural. Well, Toby, I wanted to ask you, because in the intro I mentioned you did some acting before you with the whole Wonder Wheel, and a couple of things you're on. One was that I mentioned Law and Order. Which era of that show were you on? Were you on during the Jerry Orbach era?
You know what? I was on all three of them. I know there's probably more now. The first one was probably in 1995.
Okay.
Which was Law and Order. And then I was on Criminal Intent, and I was also on SVU. So, yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because I interviewed Max Gale.
I had a question for Toby.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I know we got this delay. It sucks.
Yeah.
Toby.
Yeah.
When did you like, okay, I don't know how to say, there's a presence that you have that I know, and Rich knows also, and John knows, and that we all know as performers. When did you realize that you had this gravitas as a performer? Because it's clear that at some point maybe someone else realized that and told you, but I don't know. But you have a very strong grounding presence on screen. So whenever you're on, right? So when you're on, I'm fucking watching you. Even okay, so in The Deeper You Dig, there was even that scene where John's driving by, right? And you're like in the road, and he just like I can't explain this, but it's like I get goosebumps. I love art. You have like this presence, even in a fucking passing scene where you're just standing in the road, but it's a real presence. Like, it's not like I'd be scared. Like John's character was like, what the fuck, right? It's that thing about you is really strong. And I don't know if maybe you don't realize it, because I know we're all performers, we have no idea. But do you realize it? If so, when? And if not, why the fuck not?
Well, thank you so much. You know, it definitely started in theater, because once I started doing theater in high school, I was addicted. And I knew that I felt powerful. I felt it was the first time I probably felt powerful and confident. I think I was a little shy back then, and when I started to get on stage and hide in someone else's skin, it was a beautiful thing for me. And so I would have to say, in high school, I realized, oh, I am bringing something in here, whether people like it or not. I feel powerful. And so if people had seen that, that's wonderful. But I definitely felt it then. And thanks for asking that.
Well, one of the things I think that also might make you so great, and this is what I was going to bring up before, was that I interviewed Max Gale, who played Wojciechowicz on Barney Miller, and I also interviewed Dawn Cody, who played on Phantasm Ravager. And both of them said the toughest thing they ever did was acting in soap operas. And I know you were on Guiding Light as the Malibu Madam. So did you have the same type of experience? She said it's like nonstop. Usually, like, film sets are hurry up and wait. She goes bam, bam, bam. I was like, no stopping, and they're constantly coming out with new scripts, new dialogue. Then you get it memorized. Like, change all that. Here's a new script, and we're filming.
You got that 100% right, Rich. That is what it's like. And so you build that muscle, and it's a really good muscle to build. It was a great experience. And it's fun that I got to be kind of a bad girl.
All right. How long were you on that show? I noticed it was a recurring character.
I had a 3-year contract with them.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it. So Kai, do you have any questions for them right now?
I actually do. I have one important one.
Yep, go right ahead.
It's not even related to filmmaking, but I'm so enamored with these two lovely fucking human beings. How did you guys meet?
At
Irving Plaza.
Yep. At a rock and roll show. Toby walked in. I had gone in, bought my ticket, and I was walking up the steps, and I turned around, and she was walking in with some friends, and I was with a friend, and I turned and I was like, oh my God, look at that woman.
Listen, I'm not a psychic, but let me guess, was it the Bogman?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was, and but I think I fell in love with Toby repeatedly. I fell in love with her today, but I remember we decided to test each other out, so we went hiking in Utah. And I remember turning around, we were walking down the Escalante River, water up to here with our backpacks, and I see this girl walking down the river with me in the middle of nowhere, 3 days into a camp. And I was like,
snakes swimming all
snakes everywhere, scorpions. And I was just like, yeah.
Well, you know what I love about that too, because even throughout your movies, I was watching the movie this morning, and you were talking about in the shoot, and you're like, models aren't beautiful, they're only pretty. Now she's like a turkey, she's voluptuous, she's a woman, and just going on, I love her so much. You're just like going on and on about like how beautiful Toby was, and I said to myself, I'm like, He's speaking from the heart. This isn't dialogue that he created. I mean, you created it, but it's just you're speaking about her, how you really feel about her, how much you love her, and how beautiful she is. And I love that.
You're 100%.
Good.
I love that you can see it even well, I'll always go back to Where the Devil Roams because God, I love that film so much. But I can see your relationship. I mean, obviously it's some sort of facsimile of your relationship in that film. And Toby, I've told you this, John, I've told you this. The fucking one scene. So there's a scene with the Norwegian guy, right? Toby goes all out on him, right? And then you're like, he's Norwegian. And Toby's like, that's kind of German, isn't it? He's like, close enough. But the dynamic of the relationship is evident throughout the film. But in that particular scene, especially, like, I love it so much. I don't know. What you guys have, and knowing you guys, having spoken to you guys many times outside of, any scrutiny, right? Just us talking. Like, I love whatever it is that you have together and as a family, and what you created together, like as a family, is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's everything I've ever wanted to create. I mean, my daughter's only 12, so I'm still schooling her on this stuff, but I want whatever you guys have, whatever this beautiful bond and this incredible creative synergy that you guys have together, and that which is clearly extended to your daughters as well, is just, it's amazing, and it's to be admired, and if I'm being honest, revered. Like, we should revere these things more. We really should. We should be like, this is how you do it.
Well, I want to give you another example of that because like I said, I love the dialogue and I love the chemistry between all four of you. And just another example, it's so small, but it was so great because it's just like you and Zelda talking in Mother of Flies, and you guys are at the diner, and you're like, oh, this reminds me of something. She goes, oh, does that mean you're gonna go in the bathroom and take a dump? She goes, yeah, I'm gonna Jackson Pop the shit out of that. Or I was just laughing so hard because you could just tell it's like mother and or father and daughter just talking to each other, and it's so. As Kai was saying, it comes across as so genuine and so real, and that's what puts your films on another level.
Well, that's really cool because that is real. That was definitely not written. That's just us sitting in a diner, because we've sat in a lot of diners on the way to a lot of soccer games, and Zelda's taking a lot of shits before the game. And Zelda, if you're listening, I know you're laughing, but you know that and I've taken a lot of shits before the game too.
But that's why I just love it. It's like a little line like that I remember from the whole movie, just because it was so funny, and it stood out. But yeah, all your films are like that. And I know it's the core of it is the four of you, but I want to talk about Knucklejack for a second.
Well, only John and Rich and Toby will know. Yep. I was going to say, go back for 1 second. The cheeseburger deluxe thing. Rich, you're from the East Coast.
Yep.
Toby and John are from the East Coast, so we all know what a cheeseburger deluxe is, but nobody else does. As soon as they said that in the movie, I was like, oh my God, I was transported back into just like familiarity. I was like, I know what that is. Like, we don't have that out here in LA. I've been out here for 20 years. There's no such thing as a cheeseburger deluxe. But the way they said it and the comfort with which they said it, and like Rich was saying, like the comfort that level that John and Zelda had, like in that scene, it was real. Like, I'm a father of a daughter. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I sit in places with her all the time. I'm literally, like raising her by myself. So I understand all of that. It's that realism that you guys have, that genuine fucking realism is so, I swear a lot, sorry. But yeah, it's so good. So good.
Well, it's so fun that you recognize it, and it's so fun that people are having fun with it, because we're having fun with it. Like, it is that realism. It's like right now the movie that we're making is absolutely one of the things that we're really enjoying is we know the point of a lot of the scenes, but we're using real people, and so we're allowing them to say what they would say in the situation that we put them in. And we've gotten some beautiful, beautiful stuff from the people that we're working with. In fact, everyone that we've worked with has come up with their own feelings about the situations that we're putting them in. And we're putting everybody in kind of extreme situations, but we want them to be real. Like we want them to be from where we're from, and they are from where we're from. So they don't, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that you're digging it, because we really dig it. And, and it's, so thank you.
Well,
You know,
perfect. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Rich.
No, I was going to add on to what John was saying. It was a perfect example. Is I did radio for several years, and what they used to tell me is like, you don't have to be funny, but as long as you're having fun, it's going to translate through the airways. And I think that's exactly what the four of you are doing. It's like you can see the love, you can see the fun you guys are having, and it translates onto the screen. And Kai and I and so many other people are watching it going, I love this movie. And like I said, there's so many levels of each of your films to love. So sorry to interrupt you, Toby. What were you going to say?
Oh, no. Well, thank you. I was just going to say, and I say this with zero judgment. Some families, some parent-kid dynamics, they have definite separation of state. Like I'm the parent, you're the kid. We cannot be friends. Like I said, I don't judge. That's not the school of family that we come from. We're really close to our kids, and we don't ever talk down to them or look down to them. And they don't like to be looked down or talked down to by other adults. And something that people often, parents will separate, like maybe it's like, well, what did you do? What are, they separate things that they do in their lives. Something that's just been so damn lucky for us is that by making art together, there is not that separation. You get to create something together. It's not like I came home from work today and this was this, but you were in school today and you were that. All feasible, realistic things. But when you're making art together, you're just sharing it together. You're busting your ass together. You're failing together. You're thriving together. You're creating something that you can hopefully celebrate together by go to festivals, talk to people like you.
Yeah.
And that's just the crux of how lucky I feel that we are doing these things together. It's like spaghetti dinner every day when you're making a film with your kids.
And you know what's funny about that? I interviewed Victoria Price, who's Vincent Price's daughter. And she said when she first was asked to go to all these conventions and speak about her dad, she goes, I'm kind of afraid. I don't know what it's going to be like. She said the horror conventions were the most welcoming, the most friendly. She goes there all the time now. She loves it. And she said at first she was so afraid, but she goes, the people are exactly what you're saying. She goes, they're like, oh my God, I loved your dad. And she talks to them for hours at a time. And she loves every second of it. So I encourage any filmmaker that's watching, go to the conventions because it is a great time. And just me as a spectator and meeting all these people, it's a great time for me. But as the filmmakers, you get a chance to meet your fans and hear what they really think about what you're doing and how much it affected them in so many positive ways.
Yeah, and Kai, I look forward to it. I hope that we could see more and more stuff with you and your kid if you guys want to rock together. That's just a beautiful thing.
And if you ever need an extra in one of your movies, I would love to, I'll fly down.
Oh, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done a couple, like, look, did you ever hear of the 48-hour film fest? Well, I did a couple of the 48-hour film fest. What was that?
48-hour film fest?
I did a couple of those, but then I wanted to, this is speaking of conventions, I went to a convention, I saw somebody with a table with a bunch of Halloween Michael Myers masks. I started talking to him. I guess he makes Halloween fan films. And so he's done like Halloween, or American Halloween 3 and 4. He goes, you're like one of the coolest people I ever met. Do you want to be in my movie? So I've been in a bunch of his movies and I get killed every time and I love every second of it. The last time Michael Myers slit my throat open, I was like, gagging. So please.
We'll kill you. Head up to upstate New York and we'll kill you real good.
You know what? I can be there in about 3 hours.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're just wrapping up a film.
I'm looking forward to being killed in an Adam Spanner film.
All right.
We will love to kill both of you guys. It's a sign of love. We would love to kill you both. Yes.
You know what? I'm going to take you up on that offer. I would love to do that.
Good.
Well,
good.
Both
of you would be perfect in what we do.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll shoot something out on the West Coast. You're both on the West Coast, right?
No, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Connecticut, so I'm not that far from you guys.
Oh my gosh, you really are close. Okay,
yes.
Wow. That's great to know.
Like I said, I can get in my car after this interview's over and we could film a couple scenes.
That's amazing. Where in Connecticut?
Farmington, over by Hartford.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's close. That's pretty damn close.
Yeah, it's
2
not-
hours.
Yeah, not bad at all. So I want to go back to Knucklejack for a second because, as I mentioned, it's the core four: you, Toby, Lulu, Zelda. But in Knucklejack, I want to talk about who played Shotgun Man because I did not know this at first.
That's Pat
Harrington.
Pat Harrington from
When Dave
well,
is
he's in a
back.
band called Geezer now, but he was in Slunt,
Okay, so
who you might have played with, Kai. Like I imagine Gargantua Soul might have played with Slunt.
And Slut plays sometimes in
Yeah,
LA.
we did.
you
You
did?
probably played with their husband, Brett. Did you ever play with Fuel?
Did we ever play with Fuel? Not that I recall, but I got to be honest with you. It's been a long time. Those days are very blurred together. So we did a
Right.
lot with Godsmack and all the heavy bands of that time. We might have.
No.
Yeah,
Well, I know I've been going
Pat
back.
Harrington.
Now he was great, and I loved my favorite part of that scene was Zelda. All right, Dad. She turns the light up. That was she came out of nowhere. All right, Dad, let's go.
Yeah, that was so fun. We shot that over at Pat's house. Ooh, I gotta grab a glass of water.
Oh, we have to rewatch some of those oldies, but if we do, I think we're just gonna be bawling our eyes out
Yeah.
because we're all babies, and they're so sweet, those early dramas.
Well, what I love is, as I mentioned before, it's like a lot of people have their own home movies. Your home movies are all the movies you've created over the years from 2013, 14 up till now. And so you can look back and say, oh my God, I remember this. I remember. So it's so great that you're documenting basically your whole life through your movies.
Yeah, the last 16 years. You're right.
Yep. Oh no! It's like I said, these movies are so fresh in my mind because I've just watched them. Like I just watched Knucklejack last night. I watched The Shoot this morning, so they're really fresh in my mind. But I loved I went backwards. I started from Mother of Flies and sort of went backwards. And normally, sometimes you could see the progression, but with all of your movies, I couldn't pick a favorite one because they're all so good in so many different ways. I'm like, Ray, which one do I like best? I'm like, oh my God, this one's good. Oh wait, no, I like this one. Oh wait, that one's great. I couldn't
That's
do
so
it.
generous. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you. Yeah, and well, Rich, you said you're watching The Shoot today.
yes.
For us, that one was hard for us when we made The Shoot. It was our third film. It was our biggest budget back then. And we did not have the kids in it. And we felt that there was something kind of lacking from that film. So for us, when we look at The Shoot, we think of it as a real learning experience.
But fun to shoot.
But definitely, I mean, and the crew and the cast was incredible.
Yeah.
And we shot out in the Mojave. and
Yep.
We shot
Yeah.
in Joshua Tree. And in LA, that's our LA film.
Well, I did notice I saw as camera operators or cinematography, Zelda and Lulu were mentioned, so at least they were behind the scenes.
They were.
They were
That's
there.
exactly right.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Lulu would climb up cliffs for us. Like she would get some scenes. She'd be like, I can scramble up that cliff with the camera and the tripod, and she would shoot. She's always been incredibly brave and versatile that way.
yeah. Well, so speaking of, as Kai has been mentioning, all the great shots, I love that shot where you two are just sitting there and the sun is rising or sun is setting, and it's just the camera pans out. Such a beautiful shot.
Thank you. That was shot in Topanga up on the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cliffs of Topanga. That was beautiful out there.
In your early days, did you film without permits? Were you able to do that, or did you have to get a permit for every place that you were at? Because I know a lot of times now you're filming in your own house and different things like that, and all the neighbors and the people that live in the city are part of your film. But back then, were you like going rogue?
We often have gone rogue, but we definitely got them for things like a Joshua Tree, which was good because we needed it. Rangers would come. We would get them in like Big Bend National Park. We definitely have gotten them when we thought we really needed to.
Okay, yeah, which is smart because if you don't want it to be like I can't remember which movie it was called, Swingers with Vince Vaughn and John Favreau. he said that like when they were filming, there was like a scene where you could see the car taking off because you hear a siren in the background. They had no permits and they were just like filming as much. And you mentioned Trauma. Trauma is always like that. Lloyd Kaufman's always filming. I mean, I don't know if he's really doing too much now, but back in the days when he's doing Poltergeist and Trauma, Toxic Avenger, a lot of that was just like
Right.
wherever he was, let's film.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, that's, we only, yeah, we rarely get a permit. But we're also just a crew of sometimes 2 and 3 people. So it's, nobody ever asks us. We could shoot in New York City and no one would think that we're shooting because we shoot with a tiny little camera. You know, it's like, we don't take up space. We don't ever use lights.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really like a good thing to be small.
Yeah.
Question.
Like sometimes it's really good because like, for
Question
instance,
about
like,
this.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
No. Go, Toby. Go after you.
Like in The Deeper You Dig, we use tarot cards and they're like the Rider Waite,
That's
which
okay.
are really popular cards. And people have, we had read that like Madonna had to spend like thousands of dollars to get, you know, the permission to use that deck of cards. I had an in and got to speak to someone and they were like, "Oh, you're so tiny, don't worry about it." You know, and it's like, and I had that in like writing, like because we were so small, they weren't worried about it. It was like, sometimes it is so good to fly under the radar, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. All right. I got a question about this kind of shooting, because you guys shoot at your home where you're familiar, right? Now, I've done what you're talking about. I live in LA. I've done that rogue guerrilla shooting, like you said. You stay small. Nobody knows what you're doing. Done it. But when you're at home, because it's so comfortable for you, is that a help or a hindrance to create? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because when you're so comfortable, like at home, right? It could either be like, well, we're just at home, but it doesn't seem like that. When I see what I see like, you know, big giant filmmaking. So is it better for you guys to do it in your own environment where you don't have to worry about anybody else?
Well, I think we've gotten used to shooting wherever we want. So, I mean, we shoot in town, we shoot wherever we want. There's a lot like, I think sometimes I don't like being nervous.
I think we're always more relaxed on our own property.
Yeah, that's true. We're more relaxed when we're like, or like in state land in the woods or.
Because right now, Kai, like I play a sheriff.
Oh yeah.
And so as long as we're kind of, when I'm in my full regalia, we're much more comfortable standing on our actual like property.
Yeah.
Than when we're out.
That's what I figured. I've done that where you're shooting like in your own environment, and because you guys shoot like I do, you shoot like yourselves. You're doing it. And anytime I'm making a music video, if I'm like, Toby, you know, John, you know too, like the Killing Tree, the one I did like out in the desert and stuff. There's people all around, and I'm trying to like do this thing, and it's not very comfortable. Then there's shit that's shot here in my own home, the one I'm sitting in right now, and I'm very relaxed and I can do whatever I want. So that's what I was asking that, because I know that like John, you and I have spoken many times. You're sensitive guy and a deep guy, and Toby, you're clearly deep as fuck. We get it, but it's like when you're in your own environment, it feels so good. And again, the shit that you make in your own environment is unbelievable. But how? Oh, that's my second question. How rewarding is it to do this in your own environment? It's got to be amazing.
It is. It's kind of like, you know, like where the freckles are on your kid's face, you know, and it's like, you know, how their hair hangs. Like the same thing us when we look at our land, there are silhouettes. Like we look out our window where we sleep, and the silhouette and the mountains look like a woman lying on her side to me, you know, and there are trees that we're so familiar with. And we're like, they're like our brothers and sisters, the nature around us. And when we can capture them, like certain gnarly trees, it's just like seeing friends that we love in our films. The landscape is like that too.
I just had an epiphany of this. This may be why your films are so visceral and like and powerfully like real, because where you're shooting is what you know. What you just said, Toby, is like, so you sit out here every day, right? And you're looking at all this beautiful thing. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. And you see like this, and you're just speaking of the landscape like this living being. So when you shoot it, that comes through. Not only are you shooting this landscape and this environment that you're familiar with, but also your own children and each other who you love. This is where like the magic of your films, I'm sorry, I'm going fucking off the rails here, but like, I feel like I just had like this moment, like this is where the magic of your films is. It's this. It's you're shooting and filming and dealing with everything you know. And when you're a writer, you guys both know this. They tell you write what you know, not just write what you know, shoot what you know, right? You're making these beautiful films that are you entirely, like infused with your soul. Like you, Toby, you just described your entire fucking outside your window environment as this beautiful sleeping person, right? That's why your films are so powerful, because that's how you see it, and that's how you film it, and this is what we see. We see what you guys see. I'm not going to go on, but you understand what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah.
I can talk forever, and I won't.
I guess like the one word we can get out of all this is definitely people see the familiarity and the love that go into all your movies. And I want to give you another example of the other side of that, because I have the person that edits this. His name is John. He has his own production company, but he makes horror movies with puppets. So one time he was filming and the cops came to stop him, and they're like, "What the hell's going on here?" And they explain, like, "That's fucking cool, man. I love this." And then he goes, "Just go ahead. I don't care." Like, so the cop was like, the people that he thought maybe would stop him were like, "No way, this is great." And I think they even let him be in part of the scenes. So it's just, it's like, even if you're doing something like going rogue, I bet you if people were walking by like, "Oh my God, I love this." But I do know what you're saying is like when you're filming like what you're familiar with and what you love and what you've done, you can definitely get so much more out of it than something that you're like, "All right, I gotta look around, I gotta look over my shoulder, make sure nobody's watching. All right, let's film it and go." It's like just a little too stressful.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm guessing this next movie that you're filming is in your hometown, Catskill, that you're working on?
100%.
Yep.
A lot of it rent property.
Yep.
Yep.
And using all the locals still?
What's that?
I said, are you still using all the locals?
Yeah, we're using basically only locals and people that we've met on the way, and we are filming in town. People know us in town. So we're just shooting in our community. This one's a real local film.
Well, like I said, I might be in your area of town pretty soon. So if you have the camera ready, I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeMille.
We would honestly,
I got a question for John.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I got a question for John. You and John, you and I have like talked like how you're slightly uncomfortable like being on camera or whatever.
Yeah.
And yet you're great at it. You are, trust me. You know, yeah, I've already told you. You already know. How did you like? Fuck. How did you? When did you get comfortable? Like do it? Because I when I say comfortable, I mean there's two different comfortables. There's comfortable in front of the camera, and there's comfortable in your own brain. We know this. I love you on camera, like both of you guys. You know this, but I noticed that like you seem to have like a deeper insecurity about it, and yet you're fucking great. Again, like I asked Toby, why don't you know that? And also, are you getting more comfortable with it? Because you're fucking awesome. But you guys are great. But anyway, okay. Again, fanboying out. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. I have to edit myself, so I know what I am like. And I don't enjoy editing myself like I enjoy editing Zelda and Toby and Lulu and everybody else. So, am I comfortable? No. Am I cheap? Yes. Do I work hard? Yes. Can I boss myself around and be rude to myself? Yes. So that's why I'm hired.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like Kai was saying, I don't think you realize how great you are. I know, Toby, you're an actress and you've done this for a while. And with John, with you, like I said, in that movie, when you're going to the RV, it's like, no, I'm gonna stay here. Can I sleep here? You're just so creepy. But then in other movies, like in Hellhole, I felt so bad for you when it went into you, and you're like, oh, come on. So like you definitely show so many emotions in different films, play different types of characters, but you're always you, which is hard to do, and you just do it so naturally.
Oh, well, I mean, you guys are generous, and I really appreciate it. I'm
I
glad that I'm not really in this movie that I'm shooting now. I can tell you that. I love filming Toby, and I love filming everybody else. I just love watching people
Yeah.
uh like capture their magic. I really enjoy it.
So I guess going back to what we were saying before, I know you said you love all aspects of the filming. You prefer being more behind the scenes than you do in front of the camera. Like if you had a preference.
Totally.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
And Toby, it seems like you are just so comfortable in front of the camera. So I'm guessing you love, I know you love writing, but just like you just feel so at home there. Is that how you feel? I mean, that's how you look on
That's
camera.
where she belongs.
Yes.
I mean, I do love acting because I've done it for so long, but I got to say I love acting at this age. Like I'm going to be 57 soon, and
Yep.
I really love. I think sometimes women feel like they disappear as they get older, and I'm like, no, you know what? The older I get, the more confident in a way I get. You know, the more wrinkles, the more my waistline expands. I'm just like, I'm here for it. And I like representing women my age. So I'm really like happy to be telling, and I love telling stories. So I do. I love the acting thing. That's something I think I'll always enjoy doing.
No, so I know,
Can
John, you mentioned,
I bring something up in
Hey,
this
go ahead.
conversation real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have something that Toby just said that's actually very important. So Toby, you're 50. What did you say? 56?
I'll be 57 soon. Yep.
We're I'm wondering, like, because you, John, me, yeah, we're me, Rich, we're all the same. We're all in the same age bracket, and I find it difficult sometimes in this business. I mean, most people don't know how old I am because I hide it, but whatever. But I love that you just said that, because what you guys are doing you came into it later is basically what I'm saying. You guys came into like filmmaking like later, and yet are owning the whole thing, the whole genre. You literally created like this folk horror genre, or at least expanded upon it and made it like its own thing. I mean, I was going to ask if you're comfortable with it. You clearly are, and that's fucking wonderful. So I guess I just like that you're speaking for us, those of us who aren't 20, and just breaking into like the thing. We have years of experience, but we don't fit like whatever mold they're looking for.
But I think sometimes that's a better thing to have the age on your side, because you've lived your life, you know so much more than a 20-year-old knows. And then when you get into this, maybe you don't have the technical aspect down, but you have the life part down. And then when you start filming and learn the technical aspect, it all comes together, because you're like, you know what? I know exactly who I am, what I want to do. Instead of a 20-year-old's like, I don't really have any clue who I am, what I want to be in life. I'm just going to try to see what happens. So I think being older and being more mature is better.
And the beauty of it is they're teaching that to their daughters who are in their 20s, these 20-something beautiful young women who are like very adept at making films and everything, pretty much what they're doing, everything they do apparently, which is wonderful. Kudos to you guys for your parenting, by the way.
Thank you.
But you're teaching it to like a whole other generation. But like our experience like speaks to, like, again, that's why your films, again, another thing. See, I'm having epiphanies as I'm talking to you. That's why your films resonate so well as well, because they're coming from people who've experienced life, you know, real experience, like years. You can't teach that shit, you know. And Toby, your thing, I kind of want to get into that for a second. Not knowing who your dad was, is that what that's what we're doing here? Like, you didn't know who your father was?
Yeah, I was donor conceived. I mean, I guess you maybe have some similar stories about like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm adopted,
parenting.
so yeah, all that, but leaves
Yeah,
it brings a question to your acting. Actually, is kind of where I wanted to go with this. Okay, so someone who's not sure what you come from, kind of, you know what I mean? I'm the same. I come from what you come from, and then you invent yourself the way you want to invent yourself. I think is what I'm saying it because I know I did it, but I'm also asking it.
oh,
Does it make sense?
that's a really Yeah, that's a really compelling question because, yeah, like so for 50 years, I mean, my dad is my dad, the dad who raised me. He's definitely my dad. He died quite a long, like 21 years ago. But he's not my biological father. So when at 50, I learned this, and in a way, it was like I was going back in my head to revisit so many things that it sometimes felt like um they weren't truths anymore, but they are truths. They were just their own kind of truth because my mom and dad they were trying to protect themselves. They were trying to protect me. People do things for various reasons. My brother's adopted, um, and we're only half a year apart. And so, but at 50, I was like, I did get, in a sense, get to reinvent myself because I found out I have like 8 half siblings and we're very close. And so now suddenly I had a new family that I was exploring and discovering, and I'm still exploring that. And that's been a beautiful thing.
Well, you're in good company because I'm not sure if you know this story, but Jack Nicholson always thought his mother was his sister and his grandmother was, or his mother was his grandmother. He didn't find out till I don't know how old he was, but he was maybe an adult that his mother had him when she was so young that she pretended she was his sister and that his grandmother was his mother. So he didn't know. So he went through the same type of life, not knowing who his family was, or he knew them, but he had no idea who they were to them, which I found fascinating.
Totally wild. Yeah.
I know.
And just that's something that I love about Solvig and Mother of Flies as well. She chooses her family. She's incredibly progressive for someone so old, for a witch so old, because she chooses the family she wants, and she will wait centuries to be reunited with her chosen loved one.
This
I love that.
I got that from that film. Again, goosebumps. I got that from that film. Coming from my background, I understood everything about her. You know, just your life is your life, and you understand what you understand. But it was really well executed to the point where, like, as someone like me is watching it, I'm like, okay, you're choosing your family, and weirdly, like I said before, you chose it. Oh God, this is gonna sound so weird, but I promise, hang with me for a second. She chose it out of disease. I know this is so weird, and I don't know if you intended this, but she chose her family out of like a diseased thing and made it into something good. I'm gonna cry. This is so stupid. I'm gonna like. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I got. That's what I personally took from the film, from my life, and like I thought it was beautiful. And like, I know everyone's gonna get a different thing from it, but that's what I got from it because of my experience. But hearing what you went through, I feel maybe there was something, even if it was subliminal, you weren't really sure like what you were doing, but it was you chose disease. And the reason I say disease is because when you live your life, especially as you and I, when you're not sure where you come from and those kinds of things, you kind of create your own story. And then the real story comes in. And it's almost like I want to say a cancer. Like, I know what this sounds like. It's not as horrible as it sounds. When the real story comes in, it almost poisons your view of who you were. I'm probably, this is just me, but this is how I took your story. And then, so taking control of that disease and making that like your family and like your child. And anyway, it's a long sordid tale. You guys and I will talk about this at some other point at length. We won't do it here, but that's how I took it. And it really resonated with me. And like I said, I'm actually crying a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but it's like, it was powerful in that way to me, just to me. I don't know how anyone else took it, but that's how I took it.
I love how this turned into a Barbara Walters special. This is great. Got people crying and everything.
I didn't mean to cry. It was an accident.
No, I love it. This is great TV. But I'm 57, and so we're all about the same age. I wanted to, I know you mentioned John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the film that had the biggest impact on you. So growing up, what were some of your biggest influences as filmmakers and even musicians? I know for you, Black Flag and Minor Threat and all Fugazi, all these bands, Circle Jerks, Bad Brains. But so for the both of you, for music and movies, who are some of your biggest influences that got you to where you are today?
I think I don't have a particular like singular influence.
Yep.
I just like movies that remind me of real life. Like, and I could name a couple, like The Wrestler
Yes.
is quite a real life movie. Even a horror movie like Phantasm is kind
Yes.
of real life.
I gotta say, that movie, I'm glad you brought that up, because that movie had the biggest impact on me when I was 10 years old when that came out. And that was the only movie out of all the movies I've seen. I've Spit on Your Grave, The Exorcist, all these other movies, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. That was the only one that scared the shit out of me. The tall man's coming to get you. And you know what I'm so happy about is that I interviewed Reggie Bannister, and it was one of the last interviews that he did, because his wife kept calling me and he kept canceling. And I said, why is he, she's blowing me off. She goes, no, we'll do it another time. And then when we did the interview, she was so overbearing. Come on, Reggie, you know what's going on. Come on, Reggie, you remember the story. Like, why is she talking? Then I didn't realize that he had Alzheimer's, dementia, which now he's in hospice, which I feel so bad. But I had one of the last interviews with him. And that movie had such a huge impact on me growing up. So I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Yeah, I mean, because the kid rode a mini bike, they had hot rods. It was just like our youth. So you were looking at people that reminded you of yourself.
Oh yeah.
And families that were like your family, and so I think things like that have the biggest impact on me.
Plus, it was original as hell too. There's not too many movies that, like, when I saw that in the '70s, even now, it's like nothing was like that at that time. So Cosplay did a phenomenal job with it. Yeah. All right, so what about you, Toby?
I've always been drawn to black and white films. Like, for instance, like, so the earliest movies that really influenced me were East of Eden,
Yep.
The Hustler, Night of the Hunter.
Oh.
I like German Expressionism. Once I discovered that, I was like, this is home for me. So black and white Creature double feature. Sometimes, like on Sundays, I would feature double feature, and sometimes they'd be black and white, and I loved those. So I would say I was really drawn to films with that palette.
I love that. Yep. That's why I love, like, even for musicians or for filmmakers, you have to have an open mind. You have to, like, I mean, you don't have to, but I think the more you like, the more you embrace, the better you're going to be, because instead of like being so closed-minded, and Kai can relate to this. When I was in bands, most of my family, Metallica, Megadeth, I'm like, those are great bands, but there's so much other things out there. Because I wanted to do a cover of Terry Jack's Seasons in the Sun. Everybody started laughing. I'm like, that's a great fucking song. Come on, let's do it. And they're like, oh yeah. And then one time, remember the days where you get the CDs, you're like 10 CDs and this, we were practicing. I said, oh wait, get that phone number. And everybody's laughing. I'm like, no, Rich is serious. He likes that kind of music. I'm like, what's not to like? There's so many different types of things. I love the old foreign movies. I love the horror movies of yesterday and today. So I love the fact that you said that. And I think, once again, it just shows why you make so many great movies of different genres, and they're great in so many different ways. So that's just another way of explaining of like what makes you so great.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Well,
I had a question for Toby.
Go ahead.
I had a question for Toby.
Yeah.
Toby, who is the actress that inspired you the most?
Probably Jenna Rollins.
Ah,
I love her. I like Cassavetes. And
Yep.
they always felt kind of a kindred spirit in their films, how sometimes they use their family and you can tell like like Women Under the Influence, they'll just be, families eating spaghetti around a table. It felt very much like when we started making films, it felt kind of like I was, bowing to the gods of Cassavetes and Jenna Rollins. So, and I love her acting.
and you
So
know what's funny about Cassavetes? I just read this about him because he loved to be loose on, like, when he was directing his own movies, he loved to have everything more of improv, like he and Peter Falk but then he was on Rosemary's Baby and Roman Polanski said, nope, do this, and he said, I guess Roman Polanski says, yeah, this guy's a real pain in the ass because he did not want to be so rigid. He just wanted to make up his lines and go and improv a little bit and just be more loose with it. And Roman Polanski did like 50, 60 takes, and he says, I just couldn't take that guy anymore. He drove me crazy.
I believe it. And that's what I love about Cassavetes
I
films.
think-
They are loose.
One of my favorite things about him, and you probably saw this, I can't remember, I think it's on the Dick Cavett show. Did you see what Peter Falk, and they all come on and they're trashed. They're just so drunk and they're just laughing, going back and forth. They're wrestling, and you can say Dick Cavett completely lost control of that show. It's on YouTube. It's hilarious, but I'm a huge fan of him as well, and Jenna Rollins.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Just look up Drunk John Cassavetes.
I think Toby's
Peter
love.
Falk. What was that?
Toby's love of black and white films and that era makes total sense to me now. I understand you even more. Like, I love your acting anyway, you know this. But I absolutely get it now. It totally makes sense now. I understand like where you come from. I think like even more. Your style is very reminiscent of those older films, like that very poised, not too much talking. It's more about like the look that you give or the whatever, the gestures that you make and those kinds of things. Whatever you bring to a film when you're on screen is very strong. Like the old films, like without speaking, you don't have to speak on the film, and it's just, oh, there she is. Like, and all right, I'm again fanboying out. Sorry guys, I'm gonna do it a few times. I've already done it several times already.
You must hate all this love, don't you?
But Toby, she's very prominent on the screen.
Oh no, I agree.
No,
She has.
it's just
she
a
has
matter
such a huge presence.
of like her being on the screen. She knows how to hold herself. It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, whenever she's on the screen, that's all you really want to be looking at. So I completely understand that, and I know what you're talking about. Because.
Thank you.
So I mean, I'm having the best time talking to you two, and I really want. I'll message you off the air, but I really would, if you really want to do that, I will drive down to the Catskills whenever it's convenient for you, and I would love to be a part of whatever you're doing.
Well, thank you. No,
Rich.
we really do. That is something we would love to do. So let's talk about it. You're close. This is how it works.
All right, I love it. So, Kai, do you have any other questions for them before we let them go?
I think I asked everything. There's probably a billion more that I'll wish that I'd ask later, but I'll talk to you guys later. So, I'll ask you then.
Well, you know, just have next time when you come out with the new movie, I'm going to have you on the show again. That's it.
We cannot wait. We can't wait to talk about the next one. And, I just want to say thank you guys. This was a super beautiful conversation. You guys are great humans, and it's great to be in your presence.
You know what? The feeling is mutual.
I love you guys. You know that. I love you guys so much.
I just met you now, but I love you too. So it's not all love.
So now all we have to do now to consummate it is we all have to get killed together.
Violence.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Like I said, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. I will be there. Well, that wraps up the latest episode of The Claws. Oh, actually, sorry. One last thing, because I need to let you guys promote yourself. So we already know what's next. The movie's on the horizon, but where can people find you?
Mostly we're on Instagram. adams.family.films is where you could kind of, is our blanket kind of social media.
Okay. And was there anything that Kai and I did not mention that you do want to discuss?
No, just that we're so grateful to you guys. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Right.
absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. And you two have carte blanche. You, Toby, Lulu, and Zelda, if they ever want to come on the show, please, I will gladly have everybody on anytime you want. So thank you very much for being
Thank
on
you.
the show. And I will definitely be in touch with both of you very soon. Now, that wraps up the latest episode of The Claw's Corner. A huge thanks goes out to two of the most creative geniuses behind Wonder Wheel Productions, John Adams and Toby Poser, for taking time out of their extremely busy schedule to be a guest on my show. Thank you both very much. Another huge thanks goes out to the equally talented Kai Blackwood for not only introducing me to John Toby's work, but also co-hosting with me. Of course, I need to thank editor extraordinaire John Bristol, the award-winning Elman Productions, for always doing a superb job editing this show each and every week and making it available to all on YouTube. I am also extremely grateful to Rob Bull and Al Coles for all they do to make my show available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, as well as a cable station in Connecticut. And lastly, but definitely not least, I need to thank you, the viewer, for always tuning in. Enjoy your day, everyone.